I hear your prayer, and I'll give you some analysis. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're here in bright and sunny Carathia, about to see a historic bout between these two teams. Each one has a stake, and each one wants to win. It's going to be one hell of a game. Let's kick off the match with some player introductions. On the north side of the field, we have the first-year students of Group 1, the Rogue, LZS von Wolfgang. He's a real quick runner. The definitely not Skeleton K-Nut. Not going to attempt to pronounce that last name, folks. He's some kind of long-range threat with a bit of control. Then there's the elf Kalian. He's standing up there with the big boys on the defensive line. Right there alongside him is the nobleman Connor von Perovich. He's wearing some heavy-looking armor there. Following does to his absolutely baked tugboat away. You may not look it, but that turtle has got some speed. Flitting right behind him is the seductor's Nessa. She's going to be supporting these boys as best as she can. And finally, there's the really cool dude Valzer Voldegood. Definitely the coolest member of the team. Opposing these crowd favorites are the students of Group 2. And there's the Holy Warrior, Marine Trask, the Barbarians Lolin Lorkin, the inventor Arnon Vospart, followed by the caster Seismigen and Cezanne. Sulking around there's also the slippery Joseph Fleischer. It looks like we have some heavy hitters here, folks. It's going to take some real smart strategic thinking for our hometown heroes to scrape past this one. So let's take a look at the starting formations of the two opposing squads. Very intelligently, the students of Group 2 opted to enter an offensive stacked line formation. This will get them into combat very quickly, allowing them to use their overwhelming engagement power to force immediate contact. Alternatively, Group 4 has opted to enter a staggered 2 and 3 intercom position. This formation gives them a strong center, but immediately I can see a couple of glaring faults. But before we get to that, let's go over the pre-match buffs that each squad prepared. For Group 2, they elected to cast Bless on their 3 heavy hitters. With the Barbarians with Bless, they've got a good chance to go absolutely dicko mode on the front line of Group 4. Can he use this Bless on Aloysius, K-Nut, and tug away? Well, that is a good decision that requires them to get into a good position to do a lot of chip damage over time. Group 4's damage is front-loaded, with the Barbarians using double great axes are rolling a d12 for damage. Me being the spirit of John Madden should also remind the refs that this is the second time that a small creature is using a weapon with a heavy property. Creatures that are small or tiny have disadvantage on attack rolls with heavy weapons. A heavy weapon size and bulk make it too large for a small or tiny creature to use effectively. But I digress, the opposing team were good sports about it. Anyways, moving on to the problems with Group 4's formation. Hindsight is 2020, but me being the amazing head coach and art strategist I was when I was alive can already tell what went wrong from the beginning. It's important for the melee fighters to remember they only fight in 5 feet around them. There's too much space between each man. Understand we might be worried about area of effect abilities, but it is essential to understand how dangerous flanking is in this situation. If Group 4 goes up against a heavy melee composition again, they should consider forming into a stacked line like their opponents. It's okay if Aloysius and Tug are on the front line. They can take a couple hits. What's important is denying the enemy's ability to surround the immobile tanks. Aloysius can disengage from a bad spot, and so can Tug. Cal and Conrad cannot. I think the position of the back line is fine. However, it's important to remember to use your spells. Gainnet could have used his spells to Bane during this fight, and he didn't draw much aggro from the enemy, so his concentration would have been up for most of the fight. Remember to use your spells, my skeletal friend. If you're in a fight, when that was this dangerous with spell slots at the end, it may very well cost you your own life. With the battle underway, we can already see one of the first major issues that Kel made. Lurking, the enemy Barbarian was nearly down, yet he decided to use his attack on the target he would not have gained advantage of. This was a mistake that could have kept him alive and not drained his spell slots too early. The dreaded Conga Line of Death was able to be formed because of the amazing positioning of the opponents and the sheer amount of gaps Group 1 left in their formation. Once the battle was truly underway, it became apparent that Group 4 was completely out of position. Lo was able to move to flank Aloysius while still maintaining her position within Conrad's threatened spaces. Group 2 had advantage far more times than Group 4, and it was used to great effect with their front-loaded damage. The enemy's Bane spell was also well-timed. It caused key members of Group 4's offense to miss constantly. Once Group 4 became outnumbered, the flank train continued, overlapping, and causing multiple strikes to hit specifically because of advantage. Target selection was good. However, due to their superior positioning, team to just had more dice to roll and a higher chance of success. Even though Group 4 fought valiantly, it was a losing battle. Although Team 4 had a better style and the crowd loved them, I chalked this L to poor positioning through and through. Team 4 had all the tools to win this bout, but they just were caught flat-footed. My future advice for this young and hungry squad was to not beat themselves up too much. They had a hell of a lot at heart, and it could have gone either way many times during the fight. Tighten up that formation. Don't be afraid to get it during round 1. You'll have got the head points to move into Nova range. This has been the ethereal spirit of John Madden signing off after that analysis. Remember, kids, stay in school. You'll all make it someday.